Good morning, everyone. I love these classes that I get to teach you, mainly because I learned so much from teaching them. And this one was really, really cool to put together because I learned and had to go back and remember all those things that I did during this topic. And so I'm hoping you guys can learn a little bit from all of this. Let me shut this down. There we go. Okay, so our topic today is I've run out of friends and family, now what? And I'll be honest with you. This is a topic that I hear quite often because when I'm mentoring people, I hear all the time, Diane, I don't know, I'm kind of frustrated. I've run out of all my friends and family. And that's the number one reason why people get discouraged and they stop working. So if you're on this call, you may be one of them, and that's why you joined us, or you have somebody on your team who has told you this, or you might want to be somebody who's like, I see that down the road could possibly happen. You want to stop it either for yourself or somebody on your team. So that is the topic today, and we're going to delve right into this because I think there's a lot of ideas we can learn from this. Okay, so let's go back to the day that you started your business, okay? We're just going to assume that you're on here and maybe you're one of those people who feel like you've run out of friends and family, or you're thinking in the mind of somebody who has, okay? So we're going to go back to the day that they or you or whoever it might be started their business, okay? So number one, you made this list of friends and family. And if you never made the list, then you need to actually start right there and make your list. That might be your problem is you don't have a list, right? Okay, so we're just going to assume that you made that list of 100 with your family and friends on there. And you invited them all to a class, okay? Somebody taught the class, whether it was you or maybe somebody in your upline, maybe a few people enrolled. And great, you invited them to another class. Awesome, a few people enrolled. And then you had another class, you invited them again. And then you kind of get the sense like, okay, I think I'm annoying them. And you can just tell by the way that they react, maybe when you call or they don't answer when you call or text, or you leave something on their door and you just get no response, or maybe that uncomfortable feeling when you're around them. It's a little bit different for everyone. And then you feel like, okay, I'm annoying them and I don't want to annoy anybody. So you stop inviting them. And then you kind of stop working. And then you keep ordering on your order because you really love the products, but you're not really sure you want to keep annoying people because you don't want to be that ML guy who annoys everyone, okay? Does this sound familiar to anyone here? Or maybe something that someone has told you on your team, like, I'm nodding my head, yep, that's kind of how it goes. And this is a rut that so many people fall in, and there's a way to get out of it, and there's a way to never actually get into it in the first place. So today we're going to actually cover these two aspects. Number one, how to keep this from happening so you're not in that rut of running out of friends and family. And then number two, if you're already in that rut, we're going to talk to you a little bit about what to do to get out of it. And again, if it's not you, how to help somebody on your team to get out of it or never get into it in the first place, okay? All right, so how to keep this from happening. Number one, it is really, really important, like extremely, like I put on there, that you learn how to book classes from classes. That's just how it works. If you never learn how to do that, you will have problems for the rest of your business. So if right now you're like, yes, I've heard of that, I know it's important, I just haven't done it yet because I'm still working on how to teach a class. It's actually more important for you to learn this than it is to learn how to teach a class. And I am not kidding you. So let me show you a little example here of what we're talking about. So this is your class, okay? Your very first class that you teach, and you invite your warm market. And that's anybody that you know personally, okay? That's called your warm market. Your cold market is people that you don't know at all. That could be maybe on Facebook where you're marketing to people that you have no idea who they are. Your warm market are people that you know and you interact with regularly, okay? So you would have that class, you invite your warm market. Somebody from that class, if you learn how to effectively book classes from classes, somebody from that class books the class, okay? So here's your class right here. They book a class and then you hold that class with that friend, okay? And you get to hold it with their warm market, okay? So then you have a whole new set of people that you are teaching to. From there, somebody books the class and you go to this warm market. So a friend of a friend, okay? And they book a class and you're working with their warm market. Somebody from that class books the class, and then you have right here, which is like the most coolest, awesome place to be. This is where your business officially starts. Now, why do we have stars around this and think that, well, that's so cool? It's because when you first start your business and your friends and family are the ones who come, They're also the first ones to, let's see, what's the right word? Back out on you, to ditch you, to do it because they were just trying to help you out, or I'll book a class because she's my sister and I want to help her out, or don't really like oils, but, and then they're the first ones to cancel the class. They're the first ones to get on LRP and then not actually do the order on LRP. They're the ones who just did it because they were helping you. They're not the ones that you really, really want to build your business with. So when you get to this point where you've booked a class from a class from a class, that's when your business officially starts. That's like when you can have the party and do the dance and go, woohoo, you're now working with people that you don't know, but they like essential oils and they're booking classes with you because they want to know more about essential oils and get their friends and family into that. This is where you want to be. And it will never, ever happen until you effectively learn how to book classes from classes. So let's talk about that a little bit. How do you book classes from classes? So we actually had our #1 training on this, was called Jumpstart Your Business. If you have not watched it, you need to go back and watch that video because it's an entire story of how I started my business, what I did, how I built it, and it all really went around booking classes from classes. That was a huge part of that training. So if this is something you have not watched, you need to go back. And if you don't remember that part, go back and watch it again. Watch it several times. I also have something on YouTube. If you just do a search, go to YouTube and do a little search and put in how to book classes from classes. And up will come a little webinar that I did. The webinar was for Elise Shephard, and it was just how to book classes from classes. She had so many people on her team that were asking questions about how to do this that she asked me to do a little webinar for her. So you can go watch either one of those and it'll give you details of how to book classes from classes. The secret really is the drawing slip. So if you know how to effectively use the drawing slip at the end of the class, that is going to help you get bookings from each class. Now, the deal is if you're still not comfortable doing that, you need to get comfortable. As a matter of fact, you need to practice it. So I'm going to get a little drawing slip here. At the end of each class, you need to be using that drawing slip effectively. And here's what I would suggest you do. Go watch that video, whichever one, both of them are fine. And at the end of your class, in front of the mirror, not in your class, before your class, but in front of a mirror, practice saying those words. Practice knowing what to do. Okay, I'm going to do this right at this time. As soon as I announce what the cool gifts are that you can get for hosting a class, I'm then going to do this. And do it over and over and over again until it becomes very, very natural for you. That is what you want to do. Make sure that if you don't know how to do it, I can't even reiterate to you how important that is, okay? So that you will learn how to effectively book classes over and over and over and over, okay? All right, so if you never learned how to do that, is it too late for you? Like, Diane, I never did that. That was like a long time ago. I didn't know anything about that. It is not too late, okay? Here's what you can do. So, #1, if you had classes originally that you held, did you follow up with those people from that class? And if you did you do it effectively? So let's talk a little bit about how are you following up from those classes. So here's some tips on how to follow up. There's an effective way to do it, and there's a non-effective way to do it. I've done both. I've learned exactly what to do and what not to do. So here's some tips that I have used. #1, I just want to tell you, I am not a fan of annoying people. To me, that is difficult. It's not who I am. I come from a family of people who won't even book a class. My mother's never held a class, and neither the majority of my family members, because that's just not who they are. So when I say following up, a lot of people cringe and go, oh, I hate that part of it. You can do it in a way that is not annoying to them. And here's some tips, okay? #1, just remember, every time you follow up with them, you have to be thinking in your head, I'm helping them. I'm not selling to them. You're not trying to get them to enroll. You're trying to help them find a way of life that's going to help their situation, whatever that might be, okay? Sometimes it's physically, sometimes it's emotionally, it could be financially, but you're helping people. Keep that in the forefront of your brain, okay? I'm helping them. I'm not trying to sell them, and if they don't ever enroll or order, so fine, because you're helping them, okay? Follow-up has to be about them. It has to be about them. So if you're calling them and you're saying, I know you came to my class and just wanted to see, are you interested in enrolling? That's not about them. That's about you, because you're wanting an enrollment from that class. So you can't say those words. That has nothing to do with them. So it has to be words and phrases and things that has to do with them. So here's some things that I do. After the class is over with, and it doesn't matter who enrolled or didn't enroll, I will find them on Facebook if I'm not officially their friends, or the hostess will do this, okay? It all depends on who's friends with them. I may befriend them and I'll send them a personal message and just say, hey, I don't know if you know this, but I have a Facebook page called My Oil Place, and there's all kinds of information about oils, and I'd love to add you. And so that's about them. That's about helping them find out more information about oils without having to come to another class, without having to go online. It's just a great way to do that. And so I'm constantly adding people to My Oil Place. My Oil Place is a page that I started, but it's for anybody. You can use that as your page. Feel free to. It's not specifically mine, it's just the one that I started. And I encourage everybody on our team to put people on that page. If you've started your own page, it's difficult for people to know which page to join. There's so many out there. Just put them on the My Oil Place page and let me do all the work. Happy to do that. I have no problems with that at all. Another thing that I do to them all the time is I'll send them links or articles related to their personal situation. And this is what I do, I would say, the majority of the time. So say, for instance, this is their prize drawing slip. On the back of that prize drawing slip, I regularly write little notes. I'll say something like, son is suffering from asthma, or their mom was talking to her about possibly wanting to get some Melaleuca but wasn't quite sure, or whatever, or she uses another company, and whatever that might be. And so what I will actually do is I will go search the internet, okay, and I will find any information about essential oils and asthma. And I'll pull it up and I'll get a link for that and I'll send it to them either through text or through Messenger, depending on if they're their friends or not. And I will say, hey, I just found this online and I thought that you would enjoy reading it after our conversation the other day. So again, that's about them. It has nothing to do with me. And I don't say, if you're interested in getting this, so contact me. I don't say that at all. I just send them something. So I'm helping them, okay? I will re-invite them to a different type of class. So if they went to a basic class, and maybe I'm having a bingo class or something that's a little bit different, a roller bottle remedy class, I'll re-invite them and say, hey, I know you went to the original class. Here's something a little bit different. I thought you'd be interested. Something about them. Create some urgency. For instance, the special of the month. Did you know that they have extended it? So anybody who gets 160 PV gets those 3 amazing cool oils, the lemon, the lavender, and the peppermint. That's an awesome deal. Everybody needs to know about that. So send them a text or send them something and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know they have extended the special from last month. Didn't know if you were interested or not, but I thought I'd let you know. That is about them, okay? I've done things where I've said, hey, I'm looking for 5 hosts for the month of September. I thought of you, okay? If they were interested in hosting, then you'll let them know that you're looking for some and let them know this is what my hosts get. If you're looking for a free diffuser, I thought of you. Another one that I do often is I love your opinion on something. So I will send them something that says, hey, I am trying to use lavender for calming effects on children. I'm trying to get a little bit of an idea of different people that are using it. I love your opinion. Can I send you a sample? You can try it on your son at nighttime and you just give me your opinion on how it worked. People love to give you your opinion. In other words, you're just sending them a sample, but the way that you word it and saying, I love your opinion, is something that's for them. It's helping them, okay? So just keep that in the forefront of your mind. Anything you can do that will help them. And here's what I found. I'm doing this constantly, trying to help people send stuff to them. They will come back to me when they're ready because they heard from me. I was in front of their face. I sent them something that was helpful to them. I didn't just meet them at the class and then leave them alone. I'm their person that they're going to go to. And I would say the majority of the enrollments that I had after the class was because I followed up with them in that way. I've never followed up with anybody to say, I know you came to the class, but you didn't enroll. So are you interested in enrolling? Or I don't think I've ever done that. Can't remember if I did. If one of you are out there like, Diane, you did, then remind me. I don't think I've ever done. Okay, here's something else you can do. Set up a fun class that your friends and family may have not attended before, and then something that's different than what you did in the past. And this is what I'm talking about with the bingo classes, okay? So you can see down here at the bottom, a bingo event, secret shopper event, a roller bottle remedy class, a speed oiling, or a mega show event. This is a great way to follow up with people. So let's just go through this list here. Make sure that the invite is different and exciting. Okay, and I'm going to be honest with you, the invite can be a deal breaker for some. If it looks pretty boring and bland, they'll think that that class is going to be boring and bland. So do something that's a little bit different than you've invited. Put something cool on it. Have food, something that you know that your friends would come to. For instance, I had a friend who said, a lot of my friends like to drink. So you know what? They had a party that had to do with alcoholic beverages and how to put oils in it. If that's what your friends like, go for it, okay? If your friends have a lot of small children, then you're going to do a class that's all about children. Or if you have friends that are all going back to school, a back to school event. Everybody likes bingo. I am an advocate of bingo essential oil classes, and I do those quite often. So that might be something that would work for you. Make sure the invite announces prizes. Everybody loves prizes too. It's kind of cool how everybody's like, oh, there's a prize, and they'll come, right? Make sure you do the 3 contact method when inviting. Again, if you're not sure what that is, go back and listen to number 1, Jumpstart Your Business. And we talked a lot about that, of how to ensure people come to your class. So when you have run out of friends and family and you're going to re-invite them to this class, do it the right way. Pull out all the stops and make sure, okay, I'm going to do this because I want my business to get started again. Make sure you're just pulling out all the stops and doing everything you know you should. Cater the theme to what your friends like. We talked about that a little bit, but remember, if they don't have children, don't invite them to one of those classes. Or Roller Bottle Remedy seems to go for everybody. So think of something that your friends would come to. And the last one is practice up your skills on how to get bookings at the class. We just talked about that. In front of the mirror, do whatever it takes to make sure that you are fully aware of exactly what it takes to make sure that you're going to get bookings at that class. So here's a little sample invite of, I told you it has to be a fun invite. So this one has like a picture of a secret shopper event, and that guy just looks like, you know, he's a secret guy. I don't know. The pictures do something for people. And this one is Essential Oil Bingo. The pictures are awesome. Over $200 in prizes given out at this event. If you don't have $200 in prizes, then don't put that on there. But you can just say lots of fun prizes, whatever it might be. And the cool part about these events is that you earn tickets beforehand. So people love earning tickets and getting free things. And they're going to be working before the event. They're going to bring friends. They're going to arrive on time. They're going to make a list of ailments. All this stuff just adds to the fun of the class. And it makes it a lot different than just come to my essential oil class, right? So people are more likely to come to this. If you're interested in learning about more creative classes, next week our class is on how to teach creative classes. So we'll talk in detail more about that next week. Okay, how about setting up or participating in a group boutique? Now, if you're the men out there, you can call it whatever you want, but boutique is what people are most familiar with, that phrase. So call it something different if you'd like, but basically what this is getting several other people who are in direct sales type of a thing, and they each set up a table, and then they each invite 50 people to come, and you are using those 50 people's warm market. Okay, so this is what you need to do. First of all, find a location. The ones I've done in the past that worked the best were actually like at apartment complex centers. You know, they have a little area in the middle that you can actually use. So I'll find somebody who has an apartment complex and ask them if they can book it for me, and I would give them a gift if they're not interested in essential oils, but if they are, I'll tell them to come and they can participate in it. Usually you know somebody who has one of those. And the reason why that works so good is because not only are you going to have those 50 vendors inviting your 50 people, but all the people who come to that complex will see your signs, and they'll also come and they'll shop. I've had many of these in my past, and more particularly with Pampered Chef. And the people who live there at the apartment complex love those things, and they like to come and just look and shop and see what it's all about. So find a great location that will actually hold the amount of vendors that you're going to have. Okay, get 5 to 10 other vendors to participate. The more vendors you have, the better. So just look at all the people that you know. If you know a LuLaRoe consultant, by the way, those people can get them to come to all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't know what it is about that, but get a LuLaRoe consultant. Do somebody with makeup. Don't do anything that has to do with health and wellness, by the way. You don't want to take away from your essential oil business. So anything that's similar to what you have, I would not invite them. It has to be something completely and totally different. I'd actually get somebody who cooks food and makes cinnamon rolls, something like that. That's a huge draw for a lot of people too. Make sure that if you're the one in charge, each person is required to invite 50 plus people. Okay, they have to, because I've had done this before the wrong way. They would like set up their table, and they would just expect all the rest of us to invite people, and then we find out nobody really invited anyone. So the requirement is you have to invite 50 plus people to come to this event. Okay, make sure that you have an invitation that's fun and informative, and on there you have to put on there. We will have tables from, you know, Unique. We'll have doTERRA, all kinds of stuff, so they kind of know what to expect when they get there. Advertise. This is something you want to put in the paper for this. Make flyers, and everybody's responsible to put the flyers and post them everywhere. Paste them all over Facebook. Just get, the whole thing is to get people to know about this and advertise way in advance that you have a slew of people come that are totally different than your friends and family, right? Because you're trying to find new people. Make sure you have a prize drawing at your table that gets contacts. That's the whole point of this thing. It really isn't about trying to find new people that you don't know, although that's a part of it. It's getting contacts, right? You're going to hold a drawing and get those contacts and then follow up with them afterwards. And make sure at your table you have a big prize drawing for those who book a class. So anybody comes by and say, if you're in, first talk to them, but if you're interested in hosting a class, get in here because we're going to have a prize drawing for this large, whatever it might be. That is a big draw for people. Okay. The biggest thing about holding a boutique or a vendor fair, whatever you want to call it, is making sure that you have the time to follow up. If you don't follow up with this, it's not even worth having. And I'm not kidding. It is not worth having if you're not going to take the time to follow up with everyone. Okay. Other ideas. So let me tell you what I did. I actually contacted a lot of my blue and presidential diamond friends. We have a page that I go on there. I said, everybody, give me your ideas. If you have somebody on your team who's run out of friends and family, what do you do and what do you tell them? So these are the ideas that they gave me. They said that they'll find a new place to meet people. I love that because I do that so often. I think I've said this before. I find a new preschool every year for my child to be in just so I can meet new people at the preschool. And I've enrolled every preschool teacher that my children have had. So yay, it works. Join a meetup group. If you're not sure what that is, go online and look up meetup. There's all kinds of different topics and different things you can go and meet up with people. Sewing, it doesn't have to be, health and wellness, can be anything. Children who go to school, children who homeschool, children, whatever it might be. Tons of meetup groups. Just go find new people to meet up with. A BNI group. These are business networking groups, and you all typically go to lunch and you meet together and you share ideas, and one person gets up and has a topic to share about what their business is, and they all kind of help each other. A lot of people on our team have great success from the BNI groups. That does cost a little bit of money, so just know up front that that's there, but it's very, very helpful. Ask currently enrolled friends or family for referrals. You ever thought of that? So maybe the people that you've already talked to, send out a message to them. Say, hey, I am taking referrals. Anybody who gives me referrals of somebody who might be interested in using essential oils, I'll put into a drawing for such and such. A lot of people have somebody they know are interested or they may need this. Ask for it. Asking for referrals, I think it's a great idea. Now this next one I thought was hilarious. I thought I almost didn't put it on, but I thought, you know what, I'm just going to put it on because I thought it was great. Style your body in oils, leave the house, and enroll everyone. So isn't that a great positive attitude to have? Like, yay, okay, let's get out there and get her done. And I'll be honest with you, this is kind of what I do when I use my wild orange. If those of you have not heard my story, when I go out and about, I always have wild orange with me, always, or citrus bliss, something that's just a happy oil. And when I'm in a group of people, doesn't matter where I am, at the store, standing in line somewhere, I usually might have a kid with me, I will get that wild orange out, put it on my hands, breathe it in, put it on the back of my neck, I'll put some more on, almost use it like lotion. I want that smell to just like permeate that room because I don't know anybody who doesn't like the smell of fresh oranges. Just awesome. So I have that, and I can't tell you how many times people come around me and say, what is that smell? I love that. Wow. And that's how I have gotten a lot of people to be interested in essential oils, because what I do is I take out my little cool drawing slip and I have the A to Z guide with me. I'm like, oh, this is wild orange. I use it just in the middle of the day when I need to focus or uplift or put on my kids or helps them behave better, whatever it might be. And I'll say, you should look at this. And I'll give them an A to Z guide, and they kind of look it over. And I'll say, the wild orange, you can see in there is for that. But there's all kinds of other stuff that I use it for. And you know what? I'm having a drawing. Do you want to get a drawing? You might win some wild orange or an oil of your choice. And I'll tell them, just fill out this price drawing slip. And it's kind of funny because most strangers would never give you their information, right? But they'll fill out a prize drawing slip if they think they're going to win something. I've had many, many people that fill out prize drawing slips. And here's how I work it. When I get home, I'll wait a few days and I pull their name and say, yay, congratulations, you won. Because in my prize drawings, everybody wins. So that's just how it works. So I call them up and I'm like, hey, congratulations, you get to choose 2 oils of your choice. So look at that little A to Z guide that I gave you and kind of pick out 2 that you'd like. And let's find a place to meet up. And then I'll say, oh, actually, I have a class this coming Thursday. If you want to come to that class, you can kind of learn how to use the oils that I'm giving you. That'd be a great way. And I'll just bring my oils there. Awesome. So number one, I'm getting them to come to a class. They're getting oils in their hands on how to use them. And yay, I just found another contact from somebody just completely out of the blue. So that is a great way to be able to find contacts out and about. Teach public classes and advertise publicly. Okay, so what does that mean? So those of you who live in Arizona, we actually have the doTERRA Training Center in Mesa. What you can do is just have a public class. Go use down there and then publicly put it in the paper, put it all over the place, in the neighborhood, where everybody around there, whatever you would like, your friends and family, saying, I'm having a public essential oil class. Anybody can come. Anybody can bring friends, and post it, put it all over the place. I think that's a great idea. I've never done that, but I thought that idea was fabulous. Go out and cold call businesses with samples. So just take a bunch of samples with you. You might even take a diffuser with you, and just go stop into an office and say, hey, I am just having a service today. If you'd like to set up a diffuser and say, this is what it'll smell like, and I can come back and pick it up in 30 days and just get your opinion on it. Something like that I think that's a fabulous idea. Hold a sample challenge. So you might hold yourself to that challenge and say, I'm going to give out 2 samples a day. I'm either going to send them in the mail, or I'm going to give them to people as I go out. That is the best way to follow up with people, to get contact, just to get people knowing, wow, because out of those people, can you imagine, let's say you did 2 a day for 30 days. That's 60 people who got samples. Somebody's going to call you and say, oh, that worked great. I think I want to get that. How do I get some? Or can I come to a class, right? Great way to find new people. Ask the spouse, okay? So if you're married and you've gone through your friends and family, have you gone through your friends and family of your spouse? Oh, that was a brilliant idea. Or people in your downline, or people you've had a class with before. Say, hey, I am looking to teach some classes this month. Is there anybody that your spouse might be interested in having a class, or interested in essential oils, that you can refer to me, and make sure they make their list of 100. So there's a lot of people out there. If you feel like, I don't have any, other people do. And then here's another one, great one. Just talk to the next person. Whoever person you come in contact, just talk to them. You really have to think out of the box on these things. And out of the box just means, what have I already done, and what am I going to do differently? Okay, out of the box. Sometimes you just got to be really creative. Okay, so let's look at this here. All of you need to look deep down, take a deep breath. Let's do that. And let's check your beliefs. Sometimes it has nothing to do with what we're saying, because sometimes what we're saying is covering up what we really believe, and we don't want to accept that belief. So, do you believe that you can find people to teach? Or have you just kind of closed off your brain to thinking, there's nobody else out there, and I can't find anyone, I'm done? Is that truly your belief? Because if that is, then you may truly be done. It has nothing to do with all of the family and friends out there waiting for you to contact them, but just because your belief, okay? Look at this. Do you really believe that you're run out of friends and family? Do you really think that? Or is it something that you're just trying to use as a cover-up? Okay? Sometimes it's just a matter of us getting real with ourselves and looking at who we are, what we're doing. Why am I saying that? Is it just because it's something easy to say, so I don't have to really do what I don't want to do, or I'm uncomfortable to do? It's a good time to check that. Okay, so I have a little challenge for everybody, and I want you to do this right now, okay? If you are listening to this to the recording, I want you to do it too. Now, if you're driving in the car, do not do this, because you might get an accident. So here's what I want you to do. Take your phone out, okay? Number 1, take your phone out. I got mine here. Go to the contact section, okay? So I'm going to just take my phone out. I'm going to go to the contact section. I'm going to do this with you right now. And we'll start with the A's, okay? Now, make a list of all those you have not contacted in there. So I have people on here, and I'm just looking at it going, okay, her, oh, have not contacted her. Interesting. So that would be somebody that you might want to write down. Let me get a pen here and make a list. Okay, so such and such, I have not contacted her. Okay, let's go to the next one. Brennan. Allison. Nope, I haven't contacted them. And make that list. Okay, so once you're finished with the A section, then go to the B section. Say, okay, B. All right, there we go. Nope, I haven't contacted that person. And start making a list of all these people that are in your phone that you have not contacted. Continue down and go with each letter until you have a huge long list of all these people you haven't contacted. Still think you run out of friends and family after doing this challenge? My guess is that you may not have run out of friends and family at all, and that there's still a lot more people to contact. It might be something that you think you're out of friends and family, but you're really not. Now, I guarantee there may be some of you out there like, Diane, I am going through this, and I have contacted every person in there. And that could be true. For those of you who it wasn't, I want you to take that to heart and really make that list and go through it. Okay, does your problem stem from a lack of confidence in talking to people? Now, sometimes there may be people who really and truly, they get a fear of thinking, oh my gosh, I can't contact her. No, that totally scares them to death. And so when they say, Diane, I run on my friends and family, they mean the friends and family that they feel comfortable talking with. There's a list of people they're not comfortable talking with. And many times it's just getting out of your own self and coming into realizing, I think I need to work on that a little bit. This is a great book to read, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It is the best way for you to kind of figure out, what am I saying? What am I doing? Why do I feel that way? Highly recommend you read this if that's you. It may not be you, but if it is, get that book, start reading. It's an easy, actually fun read. I really, really like reading that book. Okay, so here's a reality check. That picture on the right is very dark. I apologize. I just realized that. So I have people who tell me, Diane, I'm not like you. I have a hard time talking to people. I'm really not somebody who can do the things that you do. And when you first started, you had this or you had this. So here's the reality check. I want to look at this picture here. This picture was taken when I very first joined and they were having a Slim and Sassy challenge. Okay, this is who I was. And I actually thought, I'll put on a nice shirt for this picture. And this is what I truly look like. It's not one of those pictures that you try to look bad in your before picture and then good in your after picture. This is what I look like. And I'll tell you this, the person that I was then is totally different than the person I am now. So I don't know if you can see my little hands on my hip here. I'm smiling. I got confidence on my face. I didn't have it back then. So when we talk about, Diane, I can't do this business because I'm not you. I can't do what you did. Well, let me tell you what I did. I decided I wanted to do it, and I did it. And I figured out what I was going to do, and I got out of my own way. Because every time I went to a class, I had fear. I felt like people were going to judge me, that I was not somebody that they were going to listen to because I was not a person of health. Look at me. I don't look healthy at all. Emotionally, I wasn't doing well either. So emotionally, physically, all kinds of places I lived in. But I was 100% determined I was going to do this. And there were times where I felt like, okay, friends and family, am I annoying them? I had to think all those things in my head, and I had to stop many times and think, okay, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to change? What do I need to do to get out of that box? And the reality check was, I did whatever it took, and I kept working. So if there's somebody who's watching this right now and thinking, I can't do what Diane did. Well, what I did was just get my butt off and do something, even though it was really, really hard. I was not the same person then that I was now. And I had to go through the same things that you're going through right now. I had to go through all the things where my friends and family thought I was a little annoying. Some of them are on this call right now that can attest to that. And I had to do what it took to get it done. So again, look at yourself, check yourself. Am I really, really done with friends and family? Do I really not have a list? What am I going to do differently right now that's going to make my business move forward? And I'll tell you this, I did not do anything fabulous or out of the ordinary. I was just me. I was probably below average. What I did was I learned how to effectively get bookings at every class, how to effectively close, and I kept teaching classes over and over again, 2 a week until I met my goal. So if you're really serious and you want to do this, book classes, learn how to close at the class, learn how to book at the class. Anybody can learn how to do this. You do not have to be a fabulous, amazing person who knows how to teach a class and enroll the whole world. That's not what the people who are successful in this business did. They're just normal, average people like me who decided they wanted to get out of their situation and do something different. And I'll tell you right now, my life is totally different than that picture. I'm just thinking of all the feelings that I had when I was back then starting my business. And it was hard. And each of you have that within you, to do something that's hard, to do something that's out of the box, to reach out and do something different that might be a little uncomfortable for you. And it can change your world, totally change your world. If you truly want this to work, you will find a way. So make a decision, commit to it, and then succeed. And that's all that it takes, because If you know your why and it's so deep within you, you will find a way to make it work, and you will no longer have the excuse that I no longer have friends and family, because that's truly what it is an excuse. I'm just going to say that. There are ways to contact people, and you need to find what works and what you're comfortable with. Decide, commit, and succeed. And you can do it. So next week, we're going to actually talk about creative class ideas. Yay! Creative class ideas are what we were talking about. How to do a bingo, maybe a secret shopper, a roller bottle remedy class. Some ideas that might get you to invite some of your friends and family who you think you've annoyed, or people maybe you've never sent to a class, but they might come to this type of creative class. Join us next week, and that's where we'll talk about all of that fun, interesting stuff. Okay, thank you all for being on the call. Let me see if I can open up the call and see if anybody can send me a chat. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to unmute everybody. You ready? See if we can do this without a ton of noise. Okay, there we go. Okay, does anybody have a question for me that you would like to know about what we talked about today? I'm also going to look in the chat too and see if there's something there that I need to look at. It looks like we don't have any questions today. We've answered them all for everyone, right? Okay, here we go. Hold on, there's the chat coming in. Excellent class, great tips. Awesome. Okay. Okay, which best resources to find your why? Ooh, that's a good question. And you know what? I think there's a book out there, Finding Your Why. Go online and Google something that says Find Your Why. I'm not sure there's a book out there about finding your why, but it's really just going deep and asking your question. Number one, the first question is, why am I doing this? Then answer the question from there, okay? From that answer, why is that important? Okay. And then from that answer, ask it 3 times. Why is that important? Because once you ask that question 5 times, you'll get very, very deep into finding out truly what your why is deep down. I think that's a great way to do that. A book can be helpful, but it's really just kind of figuring out who you are. Oh, there we go. Mark Lydell says, Eric Orr, Network Marketing Pro, has a great tool called Memory Jogger. Google for the form. It helps you with the people you can add to your contact list. Thank you, Mark. That's awesome. So Google that, Memory Jogger, and help you come up with a list of people you can contact. Sarah also says, good to review, very motivating, encouraging, thank you. Okay, awesome. Thank you, everyone, for being on the call, and we will see you next week.
Just cutting it off.
Talk to you later.